How did the Jungle Cruise change Walt Disney's philosophy about Disneyland? Stay tuned to find out. Today at Provost Park Pass, we're doing a secret reveal of the Jungle Cruise. Hey guys, at the end of this video, we're going to be giving away this Jungle Cruise boat in honor of the celebration of Disney's release of the movie The Jungle Cruise, plus our video of the Jungle Cruise Secrets Revealed. Stay tuned at the end of the video. I'll show you how you can win this boat. It's a limited edition. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit the subscribe button because we have amazing Disney content. All these cool secrets. Subscribe, like. All right, on the video. In 1951, a movie came out called The African Queen. Now this movie has had massive influence on the Jungle Cruise. In the movie, you have Humphrey Bogart and Katharine Hepburn. It's about a small steamer boat going down the Jungle River. Harper Goff, he was one of the main Imagineers responsible for Jungle Cruise, was heavily inspired by The African Queen. He even says, like, yeah, I love that movie, and he patterned almost everything after that movie for this Jungle Cruise adventure. Another source of inspiration for the Jungle Cruise was a movie from 1955 called The True Life Adventures. It was about an African lion pride. When Walt Disney was first planning this ride, he wanted it to have live animals. He wanted live animals and not animatronics. He didn't even really know what an animatronic was at that point. He's like, I want live animals. I want it to be educational. I want people to just really think how cool it is to be on this Jungle Cruise. But zoologists were like saying, that'll never work because the animals will be asleep during the day and they'll be scared of the sounds of the boats. So they came up with the idea of making animatronics. Thanks to Jungle Cruise, we now have all these amazing animatronics. Now, after they had the plans, they said, we need to make it look like a jungle. So they got Bill Evans and they said, you are in charge of all the plants, make it look like a jungle. Now, Bill Evans, he is the Imagineer for landscaping Disneyland and most of Walt Disney World. He came up with this idea. He had a limited budget. He's like, well, how do I make it look like a jungle with limited budget? Well, what he did is he took the orange trees that were here, uprooted them, turned them upside down, and had the roots pointing up in the sky and reburied the branches. And then he draped vines and put leaves on top of those roots, giving it this jungle aesthetic. Upside down orange trees. In 2010, with the environment having undergone 55 years of growth and care, Disneyland's man-made jungle was deemed a real jungle, thanks to its own self-sustaining ecosystem. Now, while they're constructing Disneyland, Walt was doing some promotional materials to kind of build hype for Disneyland. And one of the promotions was showing the Jungle Cruise. Now, the Jungle Cruise wasn't completed at this time, so what did Walt do? He drove a car through the riverbed showing off Schweitzer Falls. The car was a Nash Rambler who happened to be a sponsor at that time. He drove it. He drove a car around through this amazing riverbed. When the ride first opened in 1955 to 1962, it was very serious. It was a serious ride. The Jungle Skippers, they didn't tell jokes. They weren't up there making funny things. It was more like a nature documentary. They're going along and just like pointing at plants and saying, this is this plant and this is this plant and that's that animal and this animal lives so long and this is that type of animal it is. It was very serious. It wasn't until 1962 when jokes were introduced. In 2021, Disney did a complete retheming of the Jungle Cruise. They were trying to remove any negative depictions of anybody. When they announced that they're going to redo Jungle Cruise, a lot of people thought they were going to redo it to match the movie The Jungle Cruise, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Emily Blunt. But no, it's not. They didn't redo it at all. It does not match that movie at all. By the way, what happens if you punch Dwayne Johnson in the bum? You hit rock bottom. The new theming of the story goes something like this. You have a skipper, you have a Mexican painter, you have a Japanese entomologist, that's somebody who studies bugs, a Canadian botanist, that's somebody who studies plants, and a bird watcher from Ireland. Their names are Felix Peckman the 13th, it's the skipper, the 13th, kind of an unlucky number. Leonardo Mas is a botanist from Canada. Rosa Soto Dominguez, she's an artist from Mexico. Kan Chanosuke, an entomologist from Japan. And Siobhan Murphy, also known as Puffy. She's a bird watcher from Ireland. As you're riding the ride, you can see a camp that's been overrun as a Jeep is turned upside down. That is the entomologist camp, Dr. Khan's. Then you're gonna see all 5 of them on the pole being, rhinos chasing them, and you see all 5 characters climbing up the pole. And then you're gonna see their boat has been torn in half by a hippo. You see the bow and the stern of it. The Jungle Cruise takes place in the 1930s. We know at least about 1938 because there's a British colony flag flying above, and that was circa 1938. There's a flag. That flag is from 1938. Would be representative of what the flag looked like for the British colonies. The Jungle Cruise has gone through many technical changes throughout its years. Now, in 2001, the Jungles were disarmed. They didn't fire their guns anymore at the hippopotamuses. They took the guns away. But when they rethemed it here again in 2021, now the Jungle Skippers have their gun back. Load your boat right here. You're gonna go down here, what's called the Irrawaddy River. Then you're gonna come right over here and see the elephant bathing pool, and then turn around and go down the Ganges River. As you go down the Ganges River, it turns into the Congo River. And then you go right there, you see the Schweitzer Falls, named after Dr. Albert Falls. You move down here and you go down the Nile River. Moving along in the Nile River, you got the hippopotamus habitat. And then moving right down here, you have the Zambezi River. And then lastly, the Amazon River. And you go back home. I love that on this map, they say uncharted territory. That's where the boats dock at night. The Jungle Cruise is located at Magic Kingdom, Tokyo Disney, Hong Kong, and Disneyland. Something interesting about Tokyo's Jungle Cruise, theirs goes clockwise, where every other Jungle Cruise goes counterclockwise. Tokyo. While you're waiting the clue, you're gonna see appropriate props from the area of 1938, such as chessboards, pinned insects, typewriters, old radios, and you hear big band music playing over the radio. While you're waiting in line, you're gonna see a shipping crate from Dr. Henry Jones. That's Indiana Jones. That means that the Temple of Forbidden Eye and the Jungle Cruise are in the same universe, right there together, tying them together. You can smell the paint here in the new La Rosa area in the line. You can smell the wet oil paint. As you're waiting in line, you're gonna see these paintings, well not paintings, these pictures with bugs on them. And there are all kinds of bugs. This is from the collection of Dr. Kan Chanosuke. This is a Japanese entomologist that you'll see later on the cruise. When you're waiting in line, you're gonna see some old radios. These old radios are actually the speakers that they put announcements through, and music is piped through them. There's an old radio antenna. You see they've strung it together so they try to get reception. Right here is a new area that says KNGO radio. Look at that. Of course, KNGO is short for Congo. I'm sure you guys all figured that out. While you're waiting in line, you're gonna see a little chalkboard with all the different names of the boats. Mekong Maiden has a circle around it saying it's been missing, and that's a central plot point of the Jungle Cruise. So make sure you remember that name, Mekong Maiden. There are 12 boats, but only 8 of them can be running at a time. Their names are the Amazon Belle, Congo Queen, Ganges Gal, Hondo Haiti, Irrawaddy Woman, Kissimmee Kate, Nile Princess, Orinoco Adventurous, Suwannee Lady, Ukaili Una, Yangtze Lotus, Yangtze YANGTZE Lotus, Yangtze, I don't know, and Zambezi Miss. Now, 2 particular Jungle Cruises, their names have been retired. They retired in 1997, and their names are Magdalena Maiden and Mekong Maiden. But they brought the Mekong Maiden back when they did the refurbishment of the Jungle Cruise. There have been some famous skippers that have manned these boats. Kevin Costner, John Lasseter from Pixar, and Ron Ziegler, who was Richard Nixon's press secretary.
Well, we're off like a boat full of people. We've now entered the rainforest. Here on the right is the Temple of the Forbidden Eye, first discovered by famed archaeologist Dr. Indiana Jones. Calls it Temple of the Forbidden Eye because he's already explored temples A through H. We'll now be entering into the ancient Cambodian shrine, first built by ancient Cambodian shrine. Whoa! Look here to the left, you'll see a 500-pound Indonesian tiger. Can jump up to 30 feet, but don't worry, folks. We're 15 feet away. You just jump right over the boat. We'll now be entering into a sacred Indian elephant bathing pool.
The water in Jungle Cruise is on average around 5 feet deep. The water is cleaner than it looks. Now, they dye the water. The reason they dye the water serves 2 purposes. one, to hide the tracks. You can't see what the track the boat goes on. And two, to give it a more authentic jungle-y feel. Now the water has been dyed various colors over the years. It was first dyed brown, just a brown color. Then they kind of did like a dark green color, and now it's kind of a muddy blue.
Hey, Squirt! Don't spray the boat! We talked about this.
When I was doing my research for this video, I learned a brand new word. It's called turbidity, and that means the clarity of water. And Disney, they have the turbidity down on the Jungle Cruise. Turbidity. T-U-R-B-I-D-I-T-Y. Turbidity? Can you use it in a sentence, please?
The gorillas are calling the shots today. Wow, they've been trying to get that car to start all morning. Once you're on this river bend, up ahead you'll see the very famous Schweitzer Falls, named after a famed doctor in this area, Sir Albert Falls. Always been gone is the Nile River. Longest river in the world, goes on for miles and miles and miles. Don't believe you or yours, it's Nile. Those tall things in the back, you know what those are called? Trees.
I'm your biggest fan! No, not you, Felix! Oh, Rosa!
Oh, no, neither am I trying to charge the boat. Please cover your ears. I'm going to try and scare them all. Let that be a stern warning to you folks. Oh, look at this joker. Yeah, you know, everyone thinks my job is so easy, even a monkey can do it. Joke's on them. That's an idiot. Careful that one there. And you know, I say this all the time, but frankly, it's just true. Butterflies just aren't what they used to be. Caterpillars. What you've all been waiting for. It'll be amazing. It's the spectacular, the stupendous, eighth wonder of the world, the backside of water! Anyway, we're now here on the Amazon River. By the way, friends, around the bend we have the Jungle Cruise Lost and Trader Sam's gift shop. For kids who have African monkeys and an elephant. I don't know what continent we're in anymore. I do know these are great deals. Did you have a good time?
Yeah.
So did I. Thanks for asking. And with that, our journey comes to its end. To be honest, I don't know if I can say goodbye after all we've been through together. Alright, get out. Sorry, that was rude. Please get out.
Now the story goes that this is the ride that really influenced Walt to change his mind of how he's going to run Disneyland. He was walking along and there's a mom and a son, and the son's like, hey, I want to go ride the Jungle Cruise. Let's go ride Jungle Cruise. He's like pulling her hand to go ride the Jungle Cruise. And the mom's like, no, we've already ridden that ride. Let's go do something else. That's when Walt realized Disneyland will never be finished. And he said that, he's like, Disneyland will never be finished, we'll always keep improving it because of the Jungle Cruise. I know what you're thinking, Chris, you're doing secrets revealed to the Jungle Cruise, so why are you on Main Street USA? Well, I want to show you something really cool. Main Street USA is very close to Jungle Cruise. Right there, all these trees and plants go right back here. Those are for the Jungle Cruise. Now, another way that they saved money when they're building Disneyland is they had eucalyptus trees planted already in the orange fields right here. These are eucalyptus trees. These eucalyptus trees were planted in the orange groves because they would grow tall and they would protect the orange trees from cold wind. So what did they do? They just kept it here. Bill Evans is like, well, we'll just use those eucalyptus trees, kept them in there, and use them for Jungle Cruise. I mean, the Jungle Cruise is really close to Main Street USA. So right now I'm walking down Main Street USA, right over here, and I'm coming to what's called Center Street. You guys know Center Street? I'm gonna turn right here. It's by the Carnation Cafe. What do you see behind the Carnation Cafe? More trees covering up the existence of the Jungle Cruise. It's just right there. I am currently right outside of Disneyland. This right over here though, right as you enter in, that's part of the Jungle Cruise. And now that the skippers have their guns back, you can hear their guns shooting every once in a while as they go by, scaring out the hippos. See if we can hear it. A little pop, pop. Did you hear it? The little bing, bing, right there, Jungle Cruise. Now you can hear the familiar shots. Okay, in order to win this cruise, this is sweet. It's easy. All you have to do is make a comment. We're gonna set an alarm, and the next 24 hours, that alarm's gonna go off. Once that alarm goes off, we're gonna go on the comments and click on newest, and the one that's on top, they're the winner. That's all you have to do in order to get a chance to win this. Now you can enter as many times as you want, but keep in mind this, make each of your comments different, because you keep spamming the same comment over and over and over, YouTube at that point will block you. You don't want that to happen. So make sure each comment is unique and different for your chance to win this sweet limited edition Jungle Cruise boat. Ah! Oh no, hippos! And if you're the winner, we'll contact you and then we'll ship this out to you. Ship it out to you. If you want to go on an exotic vacation, well, I'll tell you how to do that. You're going to want to use Getaway Today. Call 1-855-GETAWAY, and they're our personal travel agent. We use them, and because every time you come to Disney, now you have to buy a ticket. They'll give you the best price guarantee. Click the link down below, and that way you can get your tickets coming to Disneyland with the best price guarantee. Getaway Today. Click that link. All right.